Hi crafty friends, and welcome to the first day of summer. And to celebrate the first day of summer, we're going to kick it off with some fun Americana red, white, and blue DIY projects. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, now for this DIY, we're going to be using some really fun supplies. We're going to be using this star cutout, wood cutout, and then you'll need some varying fabrics. So what we're going to do is we're now going to paint our star. Then once we have it painted, we have this cute little blue star. We're going to distress it a little bit, and I'm going to use some of this more coarse sandpaper, a 60 grit. So I'm going to take this outside and I'm going to sand it down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take some stain in this gel stain from Hobby Lobby, and we're going to stain the edges to make them look antique and vintage. Alright, now we have it stained and it looks super aged, which I love. Don't you guys love that? I do. Okay, so now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this next step, which you can do, not do, but I'm going to take this decal that I made on my silhouette machine and I'm going to attach it to my star. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, then once we have our decal on, I think it turned out so cute. What do you guys think? Now I'm going to take it out and I'm going to give it 2 good coats of the Rust-Oleum clear satin enamel. So let's get that done now. And you can see the sheen on it. I think it looks so pretty. But now we're going to set this aside and we're going to bring in our fabric. And for this, I'm just going to shred my fabric into strips. I'm just going to cut it and then tear it into strips. So let's go ahead and get that done now. All right, now that we have our fabric cut, I mean not cut, but torn, and I think it turned out so pretty torn. What do you guys think? Don't you love that blue and white floral? I just love it. So now we're going to set these aside, just right to the side here. We're going to bring back in our star, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the fabric strips and we're going to glue them to the bottom of our star. So let's see how this turns out. And I think like probably the bigger star you use, the more like oomph you could get with the fabric, but we'll see. So let's go ahead and start doing that and see where we're at. And I honestly think I cut so many strips that I'll probably be able to use them for another project, which I'm excited about, honestly, because I'm kind of loving this whole idea. Do you guys work with a lot of like torn rag fabric? I haven't done that a lot, so I'm super excited about this project. And I'm really loving the tearing of the fabric. It looks so pretty. You know, I'm really envious of people that can sew and make clothing. Stop it with your bad selves making clothing. Actually, funny story. I took home ec in high school. We had to take home ec. And I didn't take cooking because I really wasn't into it back in the day. Now I love it. But back in the day when you're a teenager, like, yeah, I didn't want to cook. So I took a sewing class. Well, I was really not into it, and honestly, the poor teacher, I feel bad for her, but she tried to teach me, but I just was like, I don't know. So anyway, I kept like procrastinating. We had to make a sweatshirt with a zipper. Somewhere we had to put the zipper. So anyway, I decided I'm going to make a sweatshirt. And I'm going to put my zipper here on the shoulder. Oh my goodness, that was hilarious, by the way. But she said she was impressed because it took the other girls the whole semester, the quarter, to do their sweatshirt. And I had procrastinated mine so much that I had to do mine in 2 days. It was, I know. And I would pretend like I was doing stuff in the class, but I really wasn't. I was talking and, you know, doing all that stuff. And also it came towards the end of the day. So I was cheerleader. So sometimes I'd have to leave early to go cheer or to ride the bus wherever we had to go and cheer, whatever. And so a lot of times I would skip out on that class, and I was able to because I had, you know, clearance from the coach there to do it. So anyway, I did it in 2 days, and I think, I'm not sure, my mom might still have that sweatshirt, but I don't know. But I will tell you that my teacher was impressed that I had sewn it so well in just 2 days, so I don't know. But she gave me, I think I got like a B on it, which actually is pretty good considering the rest of the class took like the whole, but they learned how to really sew. I mean, let's be honest. I just like took the cliff notes of sewing and made my sweatshirt. Anyway, moving on. But so I'm envious of people that can sew and make clothes. All right, so now we have our fabric on the back, and let's see what it looks like. Let's flip it over and see what it looks like. So to know if we're going to need more fabric. Oh, you guys, it looks so cute. Look at it. Oh, do you not love it? Oh my goodness, look at it. I love it so much. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Now we're going to add our hanger, and I think like you could add a bow. I don't know, should I add a bow? Maybe not. I know, I can't take it. Anyway, so we are going to add a hanger, and I think what I'm going to add is this little piece of leftover fabric. I think it's like perfect for a hanger. What do you guys think? You know what else would be fun, I think, is to tea stain or coffee stain or however they stain fabric and make it look vintage. I think that would be super, super cute. Oh yes, look at this hanger. Wait till I show you this hanger. It is gorgeous. All right, let me show you. Look at how cute it is. I love it. Do you guys not love this little star? Oh my goodness. And look at the little tie. I love it. I love it. But I did make it, so I guess I better love it, right? Anyway, what do you guys think? You think you'll make one? I hope so. And the great thing about this is you can make it whatever colors you want. You could make this red and then all the fabric. I think that would be pretty. You could do whatever you want, but I just love how this project turned out. All right, now for this DIY, we're going to make a fun sitter sign. Now you can make it as large or as small as you like. I'm going to be making mine sort of like a smaller size, like a little mini size, and you could use this to sit on your mantle. You could sit it on a shelf, on a table. That's why I like this size. So anyway, we're going to start by painting the top and the bottom white. And I've divided it into 3 sections, and the 2 sections at the bottom here and the top are measuring 10 inches and 10 inches. And then the center one obviously is 8 inches. So that's how I divided my 28-inch board up. So I'm going to paint the bottom and the top white, and then we're going to continue on to stain the center. I'm going to stain the center. So let's go ahead and get our painting done and our staining done, and we'll continue on to the fun part of the DIY. Okay, now that we have it painted white and stained, we're going to leave our tape on our stained part, and the top we're going to add some of these cute little stars I printed out on my silhouette machine. Then once we have our stars on, we're now going to take some white paint and we're going to paint over our stars. Oh, there's my gift card I was looking for. Okay, so now we're going to take our white paint and we're going to paint over our stars. All right, now we have our stars on. We want to put some red stripes down here. And to do that, we're just going to do it with our tape. All right, and also, while you're putting your stripes on, I found it easiest if you're going to use a 1x6 and you want to get the stripes even. I started in the center with the center strip. At first I started to the side, but that wasn't going to work out for me. I didn't like the way the stripes ended. And so I started in the center. I centered the tape right in the middle, and then I did the little piece of divider tape, and I put down the tape. So if that makes any sense. Start with your middle piece. If you're going to use a 1x6, start with your middle piece and then go out on each side from there. And then that'll give you equal amounts of side on, equal amounts of width on the sides here. And I'm going to paint this red. So let's get that done. Okay, so now we have our stars on and our stripes, and you can leave them just like this, your board just like this, if you like that nice, bright, clean look. But I'm going to take mine out and distress the stripes and the stars, and then I'll be right back. All right, and now we have it sanded. I think it looks so good. What do you guys think? I love that little distressing. So now for our last two final steps, we're going to add a decal that I printed out on my Silhouette machine, and I'll have it listed in my shop as well, this decal too. So let's go ahead and get that on, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have our final reveal after we've given it 2 coats of the Rust-Oleum satin clear enamel. So let's go ahead and get our decal on, and we'll get to the finished product. All right, and then once we have it done, it looks so pretty, that nice sheen on it. What do you guys think? Don't you love how it turned out? I think it's so pretty with the stars and the stripes. I love this. I love how it turned out. I'm having so much fun making these. All right, for this DIY, we're going to be making a fun door hanger. And I actually like making door hangers. I know a lot of people like overdo the door hanger thing and they think it's overdone, but I honestly like them. I think they're fun to make, and I think they're fun to hang on your door or put on a wreath. So we're going to make one. And to start out, we're going to be using this Hello Hobby. It's from Walmart, and it's a round disc, and it's called a round plaque, and it's 11.8 inches, which is basically 12 inches. And I just love the thickness of it. It's nice and thick. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint our whole disc white. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, and then once we have it painted white, we're going to paint this quadrant. We're going to divide it up. And I actually did that ahead of time. I took my ruler and I just made a line about, I'd say what, a third? If you divided it in thirds, it's a little more, it's actually a little less than half. And I drew a line right down the center here. And then I divided it, straight line, here. And then this is going to be a quadrant, this is going to be a quadrant, and this is going to be a quadrant. Well, I don't know. If they're are they quadrants if there's only 3? I don't know. Maybe someone else that's like smarter than me can answer that question. But anyway, so we're going to make stars in this one, and we're going to do stripes in this one. And then this one, I'll show you what we're going to do when we get there. But first we want to do the stars. And to do that, we're going to tape it off with our blue painter's tape. We're really putting this to good use in these DIYs, I think. And I love it because it's really attainable for everyone, you know what I mean? And then we're just going to tape it off, making sure it's straight. Yep, it is. And then, now, you could use a stencil right here and just stencil the stars, but I think what I'm going to do is I have some leftover, where did I put that? I had some leftover stars. Okay, so I found my stars. So let's go ahead and get that down. All right, and once we have our stars on, we're then going to take some paint and we're just going to paint over them to fill them in, because what we're going to do is we're going to then paint over them with some beautiful navy blue. So let's go ahead and get that painted. All right, now that we have our stars painted on, we want to paint some red stripes on this side. So to do that, we're going to take some blue painter's tape and we're just going to stick it down on this side of our blue, like we've done in our other DIYs. And we're going to tape down our line. Then once we have our tape on, we're going to paint our stripes red. Then once we have our stripes on there, now I want to distress mine, and to do that, this one's going to be a little difficult to distress, because if you sanded all of it together, these colors are going to kind of dust over into the white sections, and then the red and the blue, everything will be mixed together. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it off and then take it out and sand it. And so like what I would do, like if I wanted to sand the white side, I'm going to tape off this side here, sand my white side, and then do accordingly as I sand. So let me go ahead and do that. We'll start with the white side first, and we'll just put our tape right down the center here, or off center basically. And we're going to just press it down, and then I'm going to take this out and sand it. And then once I get that side sanded, then I would do tape off the other sections. And I'm pretty sure you know what I mean, but just in case you don't. Once I get this sanded, then I would take this off and I would move it over here. And then tape off the blue, and then sand the red. And then once I sanded the red, I would take that off, and then I would sand the blue. So just in case you weren't clear on that. I'm sure you were, but sometimes if you're like me, I'm like, what were they saying? That sounds weird. Anyway, so let's put this back on and go sand the project, and then we'll continue on. All right, now we have it distressed, and I really went to town. I really wanted it good and distressed. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put a decal on this side, and our decal is going to say "One Nation Under God." All right, now we have our decal ready to go, and we're just going to stick it down right here on the white side. So let's go ahead and do that now. And then once we have our decal on, we're left with this beautiful door hanger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take mine out. I'm going to stain the back side and the edges, and I'm going to give it a few good coats of the Rust-Oleum satin clear enamel. So let me do that, and we'll be right back with the finished product. Okay, and then we have our beautiful door hanger. I love the distressing. And then as you see, I stained the back side to finish it and the edges. And I love how this turned out. What do you guys think? You think you'll make one? For this DIY, we're going to be framing some sheet music. Now I purchased this frame from Michael's. It's an 8x10 frame, and it came with a 5x7 mat, but the mat doesn't really matter. It's more about the 8x10 size. Then I printed out this free sheet music from a music school, and I cut it out to fit inside my frame. I also am going to be using a little bit of this Velcro. We start by taking our frame apart and then inserting our sheet music. We follow that up with putting our back onto our frame. and smashing down our framers points. Perfect. It looks so good already. What do you think? But I'm going to maybe enhance mine a little bit, and I'm going to use the Velcro to do this with. Now, if you have the sticky dots from like Dollar Tree or Walmart or something like that, that's perfect. But I did not have any, so I'm going to just be using a little cut piece of this Velcro I had on hand. And I start by gluing one of the sides of Velcro down to my frame. Okay, and then when we have our Velcro glued down in the corner of our frame, I took the other piece of Velcro and I put it on the back of this fabric bow. And this fabric came from, what was it, Hobby Lobby? Yeah, it came from Hobby Lobby, and we actually used it in our star, We the People star, with the streamers, the fabric streamers in red, white, and blue. And I don't know if I said this, but I'm also going to have that. I know I'm going to have the vinyl decals in my shop, but I'm also going to have the star as a kit. The only thing it won't come with is the paint and stain, so you guys can choose what colors you want, but it'll come with the fabric, the wooden star, and the decal. So I'll have that in my shop if it interests you guys at all. But anyway, then once we have our bow made, we can just stick it right down to our frame. And what I love about this is you can change out the quote or the sheet music or whatever you want, picture, and then you can just remove the bow and put another bow on there to match whatever's going on in your frame, whatever you framed. Now this one I'm going to put on here, and I'm going to add actually a metal star to my bow, to this bow, and I'm just going to add it right in the center, and I think that's going to be perfect for the Star Spangled Banner. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll look at the finished piece. And be careful when you are gluing. Whoa, it's getting crazy. Be careful when you're gluing metal down with hot glue, because woohoo! Ask me how I know that lesson. That it is hot. Whoa! Well, I know metal conducts heat. Duh, Tracy. Anyway. And then once we're done, we have this beautiful little piece of easy home decor. And I think it turned out so beautiful. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite, or maybe all of them were your favorite. Which one are you most likely to recreate? Also, don't forget to visit the website, because I'm going to have a lot of like fun decals over there. And like I said, I'm going to have the star in a kit, and it's just going to be minus the paint and stain. So it's going to be the wooden star, it's going to be the torn fabric for the streamers, and then also the decal. So make sure and go over and visit that. We'd love to see you over there too. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button just in case you're new here, because we'd love to have you here at Sweet Bay Lane. And until next time, make sure and keep it crafty.